We got Phoenix, we got IndyCar news, we got F1 back, and we got NASCAR going to Las Vegas. We're going to cover all that and more on today's episode of the Flag podcast. Welcome into episode 35. 35. We're just going to keep on rolling with these episodes. This is yours truly, the motorsport enthusiast, with my lovely friend Chad Baca. How are you, Chad? You had a fun, eventful weekend, I heard.
I did. It was it's actually it's a little funny. I don't want to say it like this because then it sounds worse than what it actually is, but I can't speak too much on it. That makes it sound worse than what it actually is, but
it's not bad. It's not bad.
No, but long story short, I got to race direct the NASCAR showcase race and the Music City Quarter Midget Racing Association season opener icebreaker race in Hermitage, Tennessee. It was a lot of fun. Race directing is it's a fun, like, working with NASCAR Youth Series is a fun job, don't get me wrong, but out of everything I do, I think race directing is my least favorite because you have to be that, I call it like I'm the white cap referee in football, like that's my job. And it's, but but all in all, it was a great event. I got to see people I hadn't seen in a few months, and nice. It ended up being fantastic. And this weekend is my last weekend off.
Enjoy it. Sleep.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah. This weekend's my last weekend off until late November.
Yeah. So maybe you shouldn't watch the Australian GP that takes place at a terrible time for us here in America. Time. But we're gonna cover that. My weekend wasn't as exciting. I picked up some trees and limbs and cleaned up some vines around the property and jammed my left thumb. So that's always fun. A limb, the vines were so thick on these trees, I was swinging like Tarzan trying to pull them down.
I don't know if I can imagine you doing yard work. I don't know why.
Dude, I love yard work.
I know. I remember you telling me that. I just can't picture you doing. I guess I've just never seen you do it, but I can't picture you like. I don't know. I could see
doing blue collar work.
I don't know about. Well, yeah, but but basically, like, I don't know. Like, whenever I imagine you mowing your lawn, I imagine you on one of those fancy ride mowers.
Well, I will. I will have to use a riding lawnmower. It's 3 acres. You want me to do a push lawnmower on 3 acres?
Hey,
are you crazy?
Hey, our ancestors had to do it with one of those hacksaw thingies. So, well, I don't know what kind of yard work they do in Italy. So I don't know. I mean,
but
it's all everyone has a fucking winery in their backyard. Anyway,
we do. That'd be great.
That'd be fantastic.
That'd be great.
That'd be passive income. That's what that is.
Convert the garage into a winery, an espresso bar. I might as well. But no, did that. That was fun. I was swinging from a vine, trying to pull it down, fell right, and then literally a branch was coming right towards my head, and so I stuck my hand up to try to block it like that, and basically just bent the hell out of my thumb. So my thumb's jammed, and it's fine. My head's good.
Please,
my head's good, and I got a scratch. What?
Please, for the love of God, tell me, out of all the cameras you had of your house,
are
you serious?
It's so far down you can't see it.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
That would be fun. It was hilarious.
That'd be something we'd throw in the show. That'd be like, here's a clip.
100%. So, yeah, my weekend wasn't as exciting as yours. Well, no, mine was pretty exciting. I almost got hit by a tree, so that's fine. But all right.
I'm sorry.
You just can't picture me doing yard work, or is it the fact that I almost got hit by a tree?
The fact that you almost got hit by an inanimate object that, for the most part, does not move.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it was wild.
One of the most important things I learned in driver's ed: trees always win.
Yes, they do. No, yeah, I have a story for you. So I was driving in Bellevue down Poplar Creek, and there was a tree at night that was hanging down in the middle of the road, about windshield level.
What car was this?
This was like my first car, my Trailblazer. You have no idea what this one is.
Okay.
And I didn't see it. And when I did see it, I tried to swerve out of the way. Basically, this limb was hanging down. I ran completely into it with my windshield, busted my windshield in the middle of the road, and drove home, but had to get it replaced. So yes,
Wait, you drove home with a busted windshield? That's
100%. I mean, it didn't go through. It just completely shattered the right side, so I could still see out of the left.
But was the window still there?
Yes, it was there.
See, that's where I was confused, because you said you busted your windshield. I thought you just drove home, just letting the wind flow.
No, if I would have done that, I would have gotten glass shards in my eye. But either way, all the fun tree stories. Trees are not my best friend. Apparently,
obviously,
I need to go hug some of them more. Got enough of them around here. So okay, let's move on to some racing talk. So we're gonna go recap Phoenix really quick before we dive into IndyCar, dive into Formula One, and dive into the local racing report with NASCAR coming up this week. But Chad, we had Phoenix this past weekend, and I'm curious, what were your thoughts on the race?
NASCAR has been experimenting with this option tire for, I think this is their third or fourth race with the next gen car. Yeah. And the entire time I've been skeptical about it. One of, my biggest fear has always been NASCAR's trying to turn into Formula One. And honestly, that's why I like NASCAR so much more than Formula One. It's because it's not Formula One.
Right.
And I'm like, when we went to this whole single lug thing and the independent rear suspension and all this stuff, I was just getting nervous about it. I thought, say what you want about certain things NASCAR does, this was a good one. The amount of the on-track product was immaculate. Mm-hmm. We had beautiful racing. Like Denny Hamlin said, we had a bunch of passing. We had a bunch of that stuff. We had a close finish. We had, for the first time in the Gen 7 car, we had a driver go do a three-peat with Christopher Bell.
Yep.
I mean, it was really good, from everything that happened, from Logano's early race penalty to team strategy. And me, actually both of us were strategy heads, so we're like, that's our nerdy part when it comes to racing is, we like the numbers, we like that kind of stuff. And so it was really interesting to see, yes, the option tire, which if you're a Formula One fan is like the soft compound tire, and then the regular tire, which is like the hard compound tire. So the option tire was faster, but it didn't last as long. And I think it lasted longer than teams were expecting, especially with Joey Logano making a very, very long run in them.
Yep.
Because, you also have to think about, these guys only have 30 minutes of practice before the race. It's not like, so they've only got 30 minutes to see how much a 10-lap run wears on the primary tires and the option tire. So to kind of throw stuff at the wall and see what fixes, in my opinion, kind of impressive. Like I said, Christopher Bell getting a three-peat, which is the first time it's happened in the next-gen car, and the first time a driver has won 4 out of the first 3 races since, I think they said, Kevin Harvick in 2018?
Yep, Kevin Harvick in 18. Yep.
Yeah, and remember the year that Kevin Harvick in 2018, he was a part of the Big Three. And the most interesting part about the Big Three, they won almost every race that year, but none of them won the championship because of the playoff format and everything.
Right.
But yeah, and then we had the brake rotors exploding, but we'll get to that real quick. John, I do want to have a quick question before you kind of give your thoughts on there. I asked you this last week.
Okay.
You said your answer to this was no. I want to ask you it again and see if your answer has changed.
Okay.
Is it too early to consider Christopher Bell a championship favorite?
I'm going to say no, because he's won on 3 different kind of tracks now.
Okay.
He wins on Atlanta.
You said yes. Yes, it was too early last week. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay. I was about to say, I think no.
Yeah.
Because of the way that he has won these races.
Yeah.
I do believe that and this is one trend that I've noticed. I think he will be a championship favorite, a championship 4 favorite. I'm not sure. Looking at specifically his early race, and I've done this with my picks this week, looking at his early season trends with his late season trends, depending on what track you're looking at, it's like night and day, literally. So, for example, in Vegas, he's had the fastest on track lap averages for the last 3 years in the spring race, but in the fall race, his averages are, I think, eighth or worse.
Yeah.
So it at the moment he's winning at all the right places, but when you get down to it, I mean, he's definitely the most consistent. I'm just worried about the speed. That is it going to be there when you're on a colder track, when the conditions are going to be a little bit different than they are now? So
looking 30 weeks into the future.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I need to look at the correlation between his early season success at some of these tracks and the later season success, specifically at Phoenix, because that's going to be the big tell. But I think as a championship favorite, I think it's not too early to say that. He's won at a super speedway, which is in the playoffs. He's won at a road course, which road courses are in the playoffs. And he's won at the place that matters most. You could be bad everywhere or average everywhere else. Get yourself in the championship 4 and be good at Phoenix and win the championship just because you're good at Phoenix. So I think it's him winning this race, I think puts him in the category of, yes, he will be possibly one of the championship 4. But can he get it done? That's the question. Yeah. So I think, no, it's not too early. I think it's not too early.
And then,
he's winning at 3 different kind of tracks.
Yeah, so. And then and also we still have more to see. Look at next week, Las Vegas. All right. We see Las Vegas. I think it's the second or first race in the round of 8, Yeah. And we have seen time and time again that whoever comes out on top in Las Vegas usually comes out on top at Phoenix at the end of the year. So I'm interested to see what happens at Las Vegas. All right. I mean, it is. I don't want to say that. You see, here's the thing. Like, I know we're not at the point where we're going to give our picks yet. We're going to do that later in the episode when we dive more into when we start diving more in. But I mean, it's hard to say that a driver's going to win 4 in a row, but it's also hard to count out someone like Christopher Bell at Las Vegas. So, I think I've got a good pick for that race. But yeah. What were your thoughts on the option tire and the three-peat as well as the brake rotors exploding? That was.
So, it was. I hated it for Bubba and for Gibbs because it shouldn't happen. But they were both Toyotas, both out of a JGR adjacent camp, if you consider 2311 being affiliated with JGR. So, you have, and obviously Ty Gibbs. I thought the option tires are great. I think they should stick with them at short tracks. I think the tire fell off really, really well. The cars were faster on the front of the end of this, or the front of the stint. Should we go to 2 tire compounds? I don't know. That would add another element of strategy, but I think what NASCAR ultimately wants to do is have a better short track tire. And this, I would say, by far was the best outing we've seen from the Red. We saw what happened in North Wilkesboro. That was a complete failure because Logano completely just led the race. I mean, there was nothing there. Could that be the track? Could it be the abrasive nature of resurfacing North Wilkesboro, possibly where Phoenix is a flatter track? I thought it was a great race. Yeah, exactly. Christopher Bell going 3 for 3, that doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me with what that pace looks like in that car. Yeah. I mean, he had the battle for the win. I mean, it was not a given at the end of that restart. I think Larson could have pulled to the inside and gone 3 wide into the corner, made it a little bit more interesting. But I think him winning 3 in a row, it's an amazing feat. The last time we saw 3 in a row was Larson back in 2021. So we'll see how that continues. But the brake rotors, oh my gosh. Got to do something about them.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a car, especially at some of these tracks. I mean, both of those cars got lucky with where those brake rotors exploded.
Yeah.
If you are at the low line of a track and your right front brake rotor explodes, you have no control and you can't slow down. So you're literally going headfirst into a wall and it could be dangerous. Yeah. So I hate it for those drivers. but it's not like we haven't seen brake rotors explode at Phoenix before. Look at Christopher Bell 2 years ago in the championship. His brake rotor exploded going into turn 3. So I think it may just be a product of the track more than anything because they're so heavy on the brakes in the corners. But again, they happened with Toyotas that come out of the same camp. So it's might be a Toyota JGR 2311 thing.
Well, from my understanding is that Toyota's really only supplying what's under the hood. You know, I don't know if I'd really say, because a lot of these parts are coming straight from NASCAR.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like something they're doing in the setup. It might be the brake pressure.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Something within the how they're setting up the car itself.
Yeah. Okay, I thought you were like talking about like quality control.
No. It's not quality control. If it was quality control, we would have seen that across the board, no matter the manufacturer.
Yeah.
But it was 2 Toyotas, 2 out of the same camp, which raises questions. Okay, what were they set at? And I'd argue that Gibbs and Bubba are both 2 drivers who are probably more aggressive into a corner than others. So, but either way, though, it was a great race. I think it was one of my favorite races to watch, specifically with the strategy. So.
It really was. I mean, I think the big talk was the tire option, how much actual racing we had. One thing I do want to talk about, because this has been a big topic of discussion the past few days, is so Catherine Legge made her NASCAR Cup Series debut. Yep. You know, it's always exciting when we have, women getting in. You know, that's always fun to see. It's also exciting when we have an international driver coming in. Now we've got 2 and 1. You know, this is. This is exciting, and it didn't help that she was in, like you said, the worst equipment on the grid, unfortunately.
But not great.
At the same time, excuse me, sorry. Heartburn. Sorry. But at the same time, it's... A lot of people were saying that it was a baptism of fire. She got thrown into it when she wasn't ready, because you have to understand the majority of her career has been open wheel race cars, which open wheel race cars, the downforce on those things are insane, and then you can't, like, John, I challenge you to, on iRacing, to hop into an IndyCar, Formula One car, any open wheel winged race car. All right. Minus a sprint car. Go out on, say, Coda. Actually, you know what? Even better. Do 10 hard laps at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in an Indy car. Then immediately go to a Cup car.
Yeah.
And the way you have to switch your brain.
Yeah.
And, like, it's completely insane,
It is.
I feel like she's getting a little bit more heat than she probably deserves. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, well, even then, like, I was going to say the only person we kind of have to compare her to is Danica Patrick, but Danica Patrick's never raced the next gen car. This is the first female driver to race a next gen race car.
Yeah.
And should we see Catherine Legge make more starts? Should we see her kind of stay in the IndyCar world? What are your thoughts on that?
So gonna quick fire a couple things. Her previous NASCAR experience has been primarily on road courses in Mid-Ohio in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah.
You take a driver who's rarely raced on ovals and put her on one of the most difficult ovals. Oval, it's a freaking triangle. In NASCAR, I mean, it's one of the toughest tracks to drive because of how flat it is. And she was complaining that the car was tight all day, but got loose off the corner. That's one thing. But again, you kind of threw her into a situation where this is not something that other drivers have kind of gone into. when it comes to looking at previous road course ringers or people who come from open wheel or IMSA or whatever it may be that have gone in the Cup. Look at Jensen Button. Look at they road course. Kimi Räikkönen, road course. Juan Pablo Montoya, road course. Like all these drivers that have a similar pedigree when it comes to experience have been on road courses. The only exception would possibly be Castroneves, but he's been in IndyCar, which has had ovals. So obviously, Catherine Legge has driven in, on an oval before, but not to the level of Castroneves
or SVG.
Right, and so you almost in a way, I wouldn't say set her up for success, but do it at a better track.
Yeah.
I mean, do it. Don't do it at a track where throttle control is the name of the game and you're battling for grip in every single corner more than others. I mean, I feel like this is like comparable to throwing her in a Darlington.
Yeah, that would be something.
It's tough. It's really tough. I think the opportunity has opened the door though for her to go to possibly maybe a track house situation where they have the 91 come back. I think to really show what she can do in one of these cars, do it on something that she's been on before or has experience with. That was kind of my biggest issue with it.
I'm trying to think because IndyCar doesn't race at Coda anymore. I'm trying to think. We've got no.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it'd be difficult. I think Watkins Glen would be a better one
for sure.
Watkins Glen has its challenges. However, I do compared to a Sonoma, a Coda, a Roval, and Emilio Jimenez, it's not, kind of one and the same. But I do think we shouldn't judge her just off this one race.
No, and there's no reason to. Yeah. And I'm looking right now specifically. I wanted to make sure I spoke this correctly. So, in her oval career, so she was in IndyCar, and in 2012, and so that's one. She's raced in multiple Indy 500, so she has experience on an oval before. When it comes to NASCAR, she raced with JD Motorsports in the Xfinity Series in 2018 at Mid-Ohio and Road America, and then she also raced at Richmond in 2018. So that gives her a little bit more experience on an oval. And then you have her starting an SS Greenlight at road courses like Road America, Indy, Watkins Glen, and the Roval.
But we also have to think about A, the difference between IndyCar and NASCAR, and B, the difference between the difference between what is Xfinity and Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
It's quite, back when we had the Gen 6 car, there were some similarities there. The Gen 7 car is a completely different race car than the current truck and Xfinity.
Yeah.
All right. And, the Xfinity car, after driving it on iRacing, more recently, is very light. It's not there's not much downforce. All right. You really have to be careful with it. Where, a lot of the grip that comes from a Cup car comes from its damn weight. Yeah, how heavy it is. So you also have to think about that kind of stuff. But real quick, speaking of iRacing, I want to give a massive shout out to iRacing. They updated the Legend car, and oh my god, me and Michael Crafton got on last night, and he was able to put the setup on his real life race car onto the iRacing car, and he said
it worked.
He said it worked. He said it worked. Obviously you can't change the conditions of the track and everything in real life, and I think there's like a few things here and there that aren't. Yeah. Like all the spring rates go up by 10. Like you can have a 125-pound spring in real life, but you can only go between a 120 or a 130 in iRacing. So there's little things here and there, but I loved it. It's fantastic. They updated the tire model as well, which is amazing. I haven't tried the new ARCA cars yet.
They look fun though.
They
The
do
ARCA
look
cars
fun. They
Yeah.
do look fun. Yeah, but I think I think that's pretty much good for our recap of Phoenix. I think we should kind of dive into IndyCar now. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do IndyCar.
Yeah. So after my race that I was helping out in Nashville, I started to drive up north. And half of my drive up to the University of Northwestern Ohio is on I-65 northbound. Now, if you stay on I-65 northbound from Nashville, in about 4 hours, you'll be in Indianapolis. So while I was on I-65, I was seeing at first I saw what obviously was a car hauler, but I couldn't make out what if it was a series or if it was just a car hauler, just something like that. Then I saw the Dallara chassis hauler. I was like, oh. And then I saw the Ed Carpenter trailers. Then I saw a few Andretti, a few AJ Foyt. I saw a lot of IndyCar trailers. And I was like, what's going on? I saw an IMSA trailer as well, which I thought was interesting.
That's cool.
But I was like, what's going on? So I text our little group chat that we got. I'm like, what's going on? We've got no clue. Come to find out, they were having a test at Barber Motorsports Park.
Yep.
They tested there, what was it, yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yep.
So why were they driving down on Sunday?
Maybe to get set up for Monday. I mean, just get set up, possibly. I don't know.
They probably drove down Monday and then spent Sunday drove down Sunday, spent Monday getting ready, but
yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. But yeah, no, they were there. 19 of the 27 car and driver combos from 8 teams were there. 5 Chevys, 3 Hondas. No public scoring or timing is available, but IndyCar will provide a session overview. And one of the biggest alliances is Meyer-Shank will be sharing data with Chip Ganassi Racing. So cool to see that. Had a couple people that I'm connected with actually photograph the event, which is really interesting. So seeing some of the behind the scenes was fun yesterday. But yeah, so got that test coming up or already done, but that's literally all the IndyCar stuff until 2 weekends from now, the Thermal Club, which is now a regular season event, which is going to be on the 23rd. So yeah, no IndyCar for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and besides this test, we don't really have much information or anything new besides obviously the Meyer-Shank Racing alliance with CGR. But until we see, breaking news, by that I mean John is just now putting it into our notes.
And it came out yesterday.
It came out yesterday. Takuma Sato back with Rahal Letterman Lanigan for the Indianapolis 500, now making it a 34-car entry list.
It's going to be a lot of cars.
The Indianapolis 500 only allows 33.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if they can make it.
Who's gonna? So now now there's a possibility of, all right, someone's going home. Someone's not starting the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah,
and it's going to be interesting. I know John is excited. I know Jesse and Lindsay are super excited for that. Our friends who were all kind of going. That's just gonna be I was talking to Jesse and yeah, I'm excited for the race, but I'm more just excited just to hang out, have fun,
go on a trip
somewhere. Check out it. Like because it's been since 23. I've been to Indianapolis, and yeah,
so 2 years.
So yeah,
same
2 years. Yeah, really.
Well, I went in 20. It was either 21 or 22.
Okay.
I can't remember for the Porsche Carrera Cup when Gordon ran.
I was about to say that's when Gordon ran. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what year that was. I think 22.
But IndyCar is pretty. Do we want to do 2 early predictions for Thermal Club, or do we just?
I have no clue.
You've got
no clue. Okay.
I'm honestly a little nervous for the race because I don't know if I might have mentioned this last episode, but I'll mention it again. I almost feel like the track is too big, not in a high speed, dangerous sense, in a sense that I feel like they're just gonna kind of get strung out.
Yeah,
And
it's a 3-mile course, 3.067 miles.
I think that's got to be, yeah, because that's bigger than Indy. That's got to be bigger. That's got to be one of, if not the biggest course on the track. Because I'm trying to think, how big is Portland's? Not that big. Portland's also in iRacing now, which is cool.
It is, oh wow, yeah, I forgot they just released that update. Just to give you a little comparison, St. Pete is 1.8. Okay. The IndyCar will be using the 3-mile course, 19 corners. Looking at Long Beach is 1.9. Looking at Barber is 2.3. So it might, I don't quote me on this, it might be the longest course that we go to.
I'm gonna look at something real quick.
Portland is 1.9. Yeah, it might be the longest course that we're going to outside of possibly Road America.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
I forget how long Road America is. It doesn't.
I'm trying to see like how many 3.067 mile, 19 turn course. How many laps is the race? That's my question.
The race is going to be, I think they said 60. I have to check the schedule. I think they
coming
said
from
60.
Coming from a
65.
Okay, I mean that's
so it's the same. That's the thing.
Yeah, here it is. 6,500 and just under 200 miles.
That's typical.
Yeah,
for a road course,
for IndyCar road course.
Yeah, for IndyCar. Yeah, so I mean it's exciting. There's a lot of bends, a lot of corners, a lot of elevation change, which is fun. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah. If I have to give it too early, let's go Colton Herta. Why not?
That's
Colton
a good
Herta.
one. I mean, I haven't looked much into it.
I haven't looked at all. Literally, I'm just going off my head. Like I literally have not looked at anything at all. So
I'll go Scott Dixon. I mean this is our way too early predictions, but yeah. But yeah, But anyway, let's kind of jump into Formula One.
Yeah. Yep.
It's back. After an incredibly long off season, Formula One lights out this weekend at fucking midnight.
Yeah. If you're on Eastern time, it's midnight. For Central time, it's 11 p.m.
Yeah, so I'm going to be watching that race at midnight. You're going to be watching that race at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So on a Saturday. So that's going to be fun. But yeah.
Yeah.
Australian Grand Prix. And I think I saw somewhere, we have at least 2 Aussies in the field. I want to say 3, but I can't think of one because I know we got Duhan,
Piastri,
but I can't think off the top of my head.
I can't think of the other one off the top of my head if there is one.
But yeah, as per usual, this is a regular race weekend. Practice 1. All these times are going to be Eastern times, by the way. So if you live close to me, there you go. But practice 1 will be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, 10:30 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern.
That's tomorrow. Tomorrow, P1.
Tomorrow,
P1.
yes, tomorrow. I will not be staying up for that. I don't know. Can you even watch it?
You should be able to.
Okay.
Yep.
Practice 2 will be 1 a.m. Eastern time. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no thanks.
Then we will be having what looks to be a 10-hour practice session.
you know what I meant to type. I missed stuff.
Oh, there we go. Okay. I was
a
like
10-hour practice? No, it's a 1 hour practice.
Hey, look. I bet you there are some teams who would be just fine with a 10-hour practice. Really get it dialed in. But from 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on March 14th. March 15th, we'll have qualifying at 1 a.m. to 2 a.m.
I might stay up for that.
I probably won't.
That's Friday night. It's Friday night, early Saturday morning.
Yeah. And then March 16th, 12 a.m. If you are any other American time zone, it is going to be Saturday night. If you're me, it's going to be
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
Don't get fined. Be careful. Don't get fined, Chad. You were about to cuss. You can't swear on this show. We're talking about Formula One.
We only can't swear during the Formula One segment. We let it loose. IndyCar, NASCAR, local. We let it loose. But
IndyCar, we got to keep it proper.
Well, actually, I just remembered there's something we did forget to mention about IndyCar, which once we get done with Formula One, we talked about it before the show.
What did we miss about IndyCar? I don't know what that means. A sliding, hopping, V, and no, you got to restart that.
Okay.
R. Is that an N? N. K? No, wait, what is that? E? H?
I feel so bad for the people. I feel so bad.
NH?
No, hold on. No, there's more. I feel so bad for the people who aren't watching. I always feel so bad because we just do the dumb stuff.
That means go watch on YouTube if you haven't already.
Yeah.
So NH.
It looks like the correct letter to me, but
NHRA?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
you know what
IndyCar.
I'm talking about then. All right, and a lot of people after hearing NHRA will know what I'm talking about. But we'll get into that. A lot of the headlines going into this race, an 80% chance of rain, which for the first race of the year, mixing it up with some rain. That's
Carlos Sainz podium.
Dude, championship in 7 years is a stretch.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain, which really, it's gonna be so fun when it comes to strategy.
Yeah.
Because when you look at, and I did the math on this too and looked up the statistics, the two best drivers statistically with the highest win percentage in the rain is Lewis and Max. Lewis with a 36% win percentage and Max with a 23 or 24% win percentage. Lewis getting a win this weekend is not out of the question. It really isn't.
When I first heard that, I thought it was a lot of tinfoil hat talk. But after looking at a lot of things, after kind of going, I'm like, it is. I'm still. I really don't even really want to give a prediction. I know who I'm gonna do for my race picks, but honestly, I might watch first practice.
Yeah,
because that's more first practice is when we're truly gonna see where these guys are on the timing charts.
Exactly, but the big thing here that I want to mention is I don't think practice is going to matter. I think they will matter. I think qualifying is going to be so important because it's not going to rain in any of the practice sessions or qualifying. It's supposed to rain all day Sunday. The conditions are going to be completely different.
Yeah.
And when I don't care if Lewis was in a new car or an old car, if I'm looking at this, I'm going to see who has done the best in the wet, and that has been Lewis Hamilton.
The rain is the great equalizer. It
is. It really is. So I made my prediction earlier on my track limit episode with A2IL Media, and I said my three picks are both Ferraris and Max.
Okay.
But if I had to pick one, I'd want Lewis.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with it. I mean,
so that's your pick. So who's your pick to win? We'll just go ahead and get it out the way.
With as much rain as it's showing, if it does rain like it says, Lewis. If it doesn't, I'm going Max. So Lewis or Max, I'm going to go Lewis. I'm going Lewis.
All right, Lewis. I made this prediction a few weeks ago with IndyCar, and it didn't entirely come true, but I'm going to kind of go on the same boat here.
I know your pick. I know. Is that it?
And that's not it.
Oh, well, no, you're not going to go that, are you? Oh, baloney.
I think
baloney.
Because here's the thing with I mean, obviously, I think it's going to be a McLaren 1-2. It's going to be a McLaren 1-2 is what I'm thinking.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
I know that McLaren is not good at the start of the year, but they just won the Constructors' title. That could be a massive confidence, massive motivation going into this. So, I think, and out of those two, obviously, big picture, end of the year, Lando has the best chance to put the fight to Max Verstappen for the championship. But Oscar's got the hometown crowd behind him.
He did also just sign a new contract.
That too. And I bet you he's going to be determined to make sure Zach Brown knows he didn't make a mistake doing that. So, I'm going to go Oscar Lando 1-2, and then rounding out the field, I'm going to play it a little safe. I'm going to go Max.
I knew you were going to say Max. So you're going double McLaren, Red Bull.
And you've got a Red Bull sandwich.
I'm going double Ferrari, Red Bull. But yes, with Lewis, Max, Leclerc, 1, 2, 3. I mean, it makes sense. I get it. I mean, I understand the logic. My biggest concern, though, is the start of the race. And we have not seen Oscar in enough rain for me to be confident in Oscar. That's my biggest concern. Yeah. So,
and I just now remembered the rain. So I'm not changing my pick.
We just talked about the rain.
I know, but
the rain was the whole reason why I'm going with Lewis.
That's fair, but okay. Well, then
nope.
No,
you're locked.
I'm not changing. But I did want to ask.
Okay.
If the rain was not a factor, would you be considering more of the McLarens?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I would. I'm going. Yeah, I would.
I'm gonna lock in. I'm locked in with my picks. I'm fine with that.
Wow.
I'm locked in with my picks.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I think Lando is going to put kind of a big season prediction here. I think we're going to have a championship fight, hopefully a proper championship fight between Lando and Max.
We will. But I think it'll be between more than Lewis or between more than both of them. Either way.
I think this will be a breakout year for Oscar Piastri.
We'll see. They're paying him the big bucks now.
It's
on the line. He's got to perform.
Yeah, now you've got to perform. Here's your opportunity, all right? You're going to be here for the next few years. Show us we made the right decision. That's what McLaren is thinking right now. But yeah, so I'm actually kind of excited to see, because I feel like I'm excited to see the race because we actually have cars that are close to being equal. And then now with Ferrari being up in there, it's going to be interesting. And
they had a 1-2 last year, with
obviously
Carlos and Charles. So, I mean,
obviously I'm going to be cheering. Obviously, who I will be cheering for and who I want to win, not who I think is going to win, but who I want to win, who will most definitely not win. Any of the two Haas guys, because I'm an American.
I think one of them will. I think one of them will get a top 10.
Bierman. Ooh, okay.
I say Ocon. Ocon has more. He has more experience.
True.
In that, the big thing is the rain. Like in the rain, I'm going to take experience over pure raw speed every day.
Yeah.
I think both Ocon and Sainz will get a top 10 this weekend. So
wow.
Ocon, Sainz top 10. Yep.
I can kind of see with Sainz and Williams. I can kind of see that. You might be going on a bit of a limb there with what is it?
Ocon.
With Ocon, yeah.
As long as he doesn't, destroy his teammate into a barrier or get mad at him. But yeah, really, really quick though, want to talk about the circuit before we hop into the local racing report.
Absolutely.
It's 14 corner street circuit with 2 DRS detection points, one between turn 6 and 7. the other between turn 12 and turn 13, which means there are 4 DRS zones. It's going to be one where we may not even see the DRS, so raw speed may not matter of the actual car. It may be just down the feel. If we don't have as much rain as we expect, it's going to be all about, I think, qualifying and keeping that car underneath you. But it's turn 1's going to be chaotic.
Yeah.
Turns 6 to 7, and then turn 11 will also be wild. They are bringing the softest compounds, the C3, C4, C5 this weekend.
Okay.
And it does look like Sunday is going to be a complete wash. I mean, it's going to be wet from early in the morning to about 6 or 7 o'clock in Australia. So, or actually our time technically. So it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like. I need to convert this time.
On the notepad,
on the Australia side of things. So, because it says it's supposed to rain in Australia, but starting at 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., but I don't know if that is...
Race should be about like 2-3 p.m. and it'll be
right.
An hour and a half.
I don't know if that's our time or if that's their time.
Their time. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Okay.
Is what their weather looks like.
I will say that besides Formula One, or all in total, there will be not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 different series racing this weekend. We will have the Formula 1 through 3, so Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, as well as the Porsche Carrera Cup, and I might be a little bit more excited for this, the Australian Supercars.
Oh yeah, they're back.
That's gonna be exciting to watch. But yeah, John, I think that's kind of sums it up.
Yeah, I just found the weather. Rain likely, high 74. Winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour with a chance of rain at 90%, near half an inch of rain. So it's raining for sure.
It's not only going to be raining, it's going to be windy.
Yeah, windy and rain plus upside down airplanes. Oh boy.
Yeah, but 58 laps, 120 minutes to figure it out. But
really.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to our local racing report. We are headed to Butler, Montana.
Ooh.
For the only reason I chose this racetrack is because the name of the racetrack sounded cool. Electric City Speedway.
That's cool.
They had I believe this is a dirt track up in Butler. So, and they only had one division, a 31 car race that was 150 laps. It was, I believe this was their season kickoff kind of endurance style race, which I thought was pretty cool. So we're going to actually do the top 10 from this.
Let's do it.
So started 14th, came home 10 in the number 1 seed, Larry Anderson. Started 18th, chopped that in half to finish 9th in the number 38th, Jonathan Ramsey. Started 4th, doubled that to finish 8th in the number 83, Gene Mills. Started 9th, came home 7th in the 7D7. 7D7. 7, the letter D. 7.
77.
77. Dave Harper. Started 15th, fought their way up to 6th. In the number 122, John Shaver. Started 17th, finished 5th in the number 2T. Started 3rd, finished 4th in the number 12 was Jet Herrick. Started 7th, finished 3rd in the number 6A, Aden Dennison. Started 11th, finished 2nd in the number OMS.
OMS?
This just screams front-wheel drive.
Yeah, it is.
John Lempe. And then starting 21st out of 31 cars, coming home with the feature enduro 150 lap win from Creighton, Montana, the number 11A, Bill Polzin. So,
Nice.
yeah, if you would like your local short track shouted out on the Flag to Flag podcast, email flagtoflag10@gmail.com or hit us up on any of our social media channels. Listen out for those at the end of the episode. Make sure you head out to your local short track and bring a friend. This week's Flag to Flag at the track, unless John plans on going anywhere. No? All right. Then this week's Flag to Flag at the track, technically there is not one. However, I am house sitting for my aunt in Columbus, and I might go check out the new Columbus K1 Speed.
Oh yeah, do it, 100%.
So if anything, it'll be that. But yeah. Yeah, and then there will not be another one next week either. I will be in Nashville, and I will probably end up going to MCK. But I am going for my good
K1.
No, MCK.
Oh, the new track.
The new yeah. After going to Music City Carplex, I'm not going back to K1 Nashville.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, which that's a different bucket of worms. But yeah, I am coming back to Nashville because my good friend, I know he's not listening to this because he told me he can barely stand to hear me talk in person. My good friend Zach is getting married on the 22nd, and I will be going to the wedding. So I'm super excited. Me and Zach met through racing, and we've become really good friends over the years. So
very nice.
But before we move on to looking ahead towards Las Vegas here at NASCAR, there's one thing I forgot to mention earlier. And this was, from a PR standpoint, John.
Oh, yeah.
How would you describe this?
Bad publicity is good publicity, or
any publicity is good publicity.
Like, I mean, it creates. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a bold statement.
So for those who don't know what we are talking about,
dive into it a little bit.
This past weekend, along with the NASCAR Cup Series at Phoenix, the NHRA, National Hot Rod Association, which is basically, if you're unfamiliar, is the pinnacle of drag racing. So when you see those really long cars that are hitting over 300 miles, that's NHRA top fuel dragsters, you know? And then, of course, they're kind of, I don't really want to say it's like a division down. It's kind of on the same field as their funny car division. But they had their season opener, their Gator Nationals event, which I watched the highlights of. It was actually a really good event. It was really cool. However, one driver was not too happy, not because of something that happened on track, but because he won his funny car race. I forget his name, but he drives the number PPG Toyota.
Bob Tasca.
Bob Tasca, thank you. After his run that he won, he went to go talk and have an interview, and instead of talking about the race, he decided to get something off his chest. He had a little bone to pick with Fox, more specifically Fox Sports department. Fox Sports, over this offseason, has been advertising IndyCar as the fastest racing on Earth. Technically speaking, drag racing is racing, and these guys are hitting over 330 miles an hour.
Yep.
Technically speaking, NHRA is the fastest racing on Earth. The only thing faster would be land speed record attempts. However, that you're racing the clock, you're not racing other people.
Yeah.
And that falls in more of the category of motorsports than it does racing.
Yeah.
And at first I thought it was a joke, but after watching it back a few times, he seemed genuinely
He was bothered.
He
was bothered.
I was gonna say pissed, but yeah, that works too.
Pissed,
and
bothered.
You could tell, like, even the Fox reporter didn't know what to say.
They're like,
They were like,
okay.
cut. But here's the thing that made it really interesting is that NHRA used that clip as to promote it, and which means that NHRA has its drivers back. Now, from a team PR perspective, I don't know how that looks. From a series PR perspective, I think that looks pretty good. From a Fox PR perspective, I think someone's head exploded.
Yeah.
So
literally.
I think it's interesting. I don't know if we will see anything more come out of this. I don't think we will.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
however,
yeah,
I think I will be watching more more NHRA this year, mainly because I'm like, geez, I kind of like these guys. They're honest. Like I like the personalities behind the drivers.
Right.
So,
and
I mean, you have Tony Stewart up in there, and anyone with the last name of Force is a character. So,
yeah, it's just they just don't get the publicity like NASCAR or IndyCar or any other, and that's the thing. They just don't. I mean, it's kind of drag racing. Oh, okay. It's not.
But when you see what goes into drag racing, like, Formula One, they have a set amount of motors that they're allowed to use throughout a year. So does IndyCar.
Yeah.
That's why at the end of each race, we don't see what we see in NASCAR, which is a burnout.
Yep.
NASCAR replaces their motors every 1 to 2 race weekends.
Yep.
Every single time an NHRA drag car at speed goes down the track, they blow up the motor.
Basically, yep.
I don't know if you've seen videos of these guys changing motors, but it's like I like to say it's a well-oiled machine building a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah. For those who haven't seen the clip, also, by the way, we will, if we make a clip of this for Instagram, TikTok, or anything, we'll throw a clip in there of kind of the interview or anything. If you're watching, I don't know if we'll want to show it here on the podcast or anything, John.
I would have to bring it up. It'd be kind of a process.
Yeah. Okay. So
actually, hold on. Well, let's bring up the clip. Hopefully, the audio works.
Are you going to share your screen?
Yeah, I'll share my screen.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's just share our screen.
Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. I know where it is.
Yeah. Well, while John is looking for that, I am going to go ahead and say one thing real quick for NASCAR. All the divisions racing this weekend. We will have the Pennzoil 400 on Sunday on FS1 and PRN for the radio. The Luna something race will air on the CW. The Echo Safe 200 will also be airing on FS1. And guess who is starting their national tour this year? Hence, here's a hint. I'm wearing the hat.
Oh.
The NASCAR Youth Series is having their first round of the 2025 tour. If you're familiar with the Las Vegas area, or the Las Vegas Motor Speedway area, and you know the local short track they have there called the Bull Ring, it'll be in the parking lot or the pit area of the Bull Ring where they'll be racing. And yeah, I didn't get the call to go, so I will not be there. However, I will be at the second round in Talladega. But here is the clip posted by NHRA and Bob Tasca III. Just play it. I mean, just play it.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, it's loud.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, is it? Oh,
it's either on or off. It's either on or off. Just play it.
Say, what is it?
Yeah, so I should be talking about that run right now, but really, for me, I got to call out Fox Sports. All winter long, we heard about the fastest motorsports on the planet. And I was a little confused because I didn't see that PPG Mustang when I saw that ad, and I didn't see that Proc car over there. And the truth is, it's an insult to our fans and to the drivers for Fox to go on TV and say the fastest motorsports in the world, and it's IndyCar? Come on now, I didn't think it was Fake News Network on Fox.
No,
Fake.
keep playing. If there's more, keep playing, because
No,
I want to see the
Well, that's
you
it.
don't
That's
even see
it.
her anymore. Like she's like,
No,
I don't know
that's
I don't know how to handle this.
Fake news network on Fox. Wow.
I did not think the biggest drama of the year would start in NHRA.
No, that wasn't on my bingo card. It will
Sure
never
as
be on
hell
my
wasn't
bingo
on mine.
card. It wasn't. No. So I mean, he's not wrong. It's
He's
not the
not.
fastest racing. I mean, if we're talking straight line, then that's a different story. But we're not. We're talking racing as a whole.
Yes.
Yeah, as a whole. So
You
it
know?
counts everything.
Which,
Yeah, I mean,
and something interesting is racing is not always motorsports, and motorsports is not always racing.
yep,
Exactly.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
it is interesting. But yeah, I don't know if anything else will come out of this. I kind of want to watch. Hold on. When is the next NHRA event?
Didn't you say this weekend or 2 weekends from now?
I do not know. It will be not this weekend, but next weekend will be the NHRA Arizona Nationals.
Yep.
In Phoenix, Arizona. And yeah, so I am going to be interested to see if they mention anything then. So
I'm just curious to see what IndyCar is going to do, if they're going to change their commercials at all, because because it was a Fox interview, and I think Fox does cover drag, so if they cover drag racing in the NHRA,
but unfortunately, most of the time, NHRA does get sent to the back burner, meaning FS1 or FS2.
Yeah,
they don't get that prime time spot, which NASCAR is also now competing for that prime time Fox position. And then there's no telling what the type of fighting is going to be once football season rolls back around, because IndyCar has already announced that, hey, all 17 races will be on Fox.
Well, the NFL season starts after football, or the IndyCar season.
Oh,
so
okay, I don't watch football.
So literally the following week, it should be the following weekend will be week one of the NFL season.
But also, real quick, looking at the NHRA website, it looks like they're actually doing their West Coast swing. So their first one was in Gator Nationals in Gainesville, Florida. But next weekend, they will be in Phoenix, Arizona. The weekend after that, they will be in Sonoma, California for the NHRA Lucas Oil Winter Nationals. And then 2 weeks from then, maybe 3, the 4-wide Nationals in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then, 4-wide Nationals in Charlotte, Chicago. Come on, Bristol.
That'll be fun.
NHRA at the track for NHRA, or flag to flag at the track for NHRA. My bad. I had a stroke there. My bad. Norwalk, Ohio.
We'll see.
I'll have to see where I'm at that weekend.
But either way,
yeah,
that's our NHRA stuff. Didn't expect that.
Yeah, so I didn't expect 2 weeks in a row of NHRA, but
I didn't either. Let's move on into NASCAR though.
Yes,
it's our last segment of the day. Yeah, so we're in Vegas. We got all 3 series going to be there this weekend: the trucks, the Xfinity Series, and the NASCAR Cup Series. Like you already said, so giving a rundown of the schedule: Friday, March 14th, practice 3:35 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Truck Series on Friday, with qualifying starting at 4:40, and the race starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. So love the night races at Vegas. It's a great one to watch. I highly recommend.
Yeah.
Followed by the Xfinity Series on Sunday, practice at 6:05. That is Friday night. Excuse me. So practice is at 6:05 on Friday for the Xfinity Series, followed by qualifying at 7:10. Races at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then for the Cup Series, you have practice from 1:35 to 2:25 on Saturday, qualifying 2:40 to 3:30 on Saturday, with the race on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Truck Series and the Cup Series will be on Fox Sports 1, with the Xfinity Series going to be on the CW. So, Chad, we're going to Vegas.
Yes, we are. I am currently trying to find I found this really cool Facebook page, It's called Crew Chief's Corner, and what it does, it gives you the entry list. It gives you the series of events. Like, it gives you all the information.
Right.
And I'm trying to see here if they will be. When is... All right, so qualifying is single vehicle, 1 lap. However, I'm trying to see... Let's see here.
What the qualifying?
No, I'm trying to see what the... So, okay. So there's currently 32 cars signed up. As of right now, it looks like all the cars will be starting the race.
Got it.
I don't see anything that says it won't be. For the Xfinity Series, a 38 car field, so we might see 1 or 2 get chopped from that, maybe more. And then a 36 car Cup Series field, all cars are charter cars, so they will all be making it into that race.
Yep.
Yeah, so Xfinity qualifying for Xfinity, going to be exciting to watch. But yeah, so let's kind of talk about this weekend, all right? We can dabble a little bit in the trucks and Xfinity, but let's mainly focus on the Cup Series here. I kind of have a pick of who I think is going to win.
Okay, who's your pick?
If he does win, I know there's going to be some tinfoil hats because of the sponsor of the event. However, this driver was very upset last weekend after a penalty, and I think they will be making a comeback. They won. They are no stranger to victory lane at this racetrack.
Fair point.
My pick to win is Joey Logano.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Joey Logano.
Now, I do have a backup, somewhat of a long shot pick here, which we don't have to mention as well. We don't have to put on our thing as well, but I think it's going to be similar to what we see in Australia, that this driver, who has had good finishes this year, but at this race will have his hometown crowd backing him. I would love to see it. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think the number 8 car will be... Do you think I was going to say Herbst or Gragson?
Yeah, I was confused. I don't know who you were going to... I was trying to figure out. I was going through my list of people who I know
but,
from Vegas.
I think long shot here, I'm kind of going Kyle Busch, but I do think... I think Logano... hell, the Penske's are strong here. But someone else who is strong here, who... At this point, you can't count him out of any race now. He's one of those guys. This driver has now become a part of the group to where, like, you have some drivers that they're good at certain style racetracks. This driver has now entered the chat of being a conversation person in any racetrack we go to. It's going to be this is a long shot. So much so that my headphones fell off.
How is he a conversation every time we go? What does that even mean? You can't have both. That doesn't make sense.
He used to be only good at certain tracks. Now I feel like he has a fight to win at every track we go to.
Okay.
Christopher Bell.
That's not a long shot. That's not a long shot.
But going 4 in a row in NASCAR?
The odds don't, or the books don't think he's a long shot. I would not put. I'm just saying.
It's not that I don't want to count him out. It's that the odds of winning 4 races in a row, the odds of winning 3 races in a row, let alone 4. All right, and we're not even halfway to Richard Petty's 10-race win streak. All right. Completely different era. I understand, but. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Like you said, the shots are big. Who do you have to win this upcoming weekend?
None of the drivers you just mentioned.
Really? Okay. Wow.
No. So I've already got my locks.
I mentioned 3 different manufacturers too.
I I don't think looking at a lot of different things, looking at who's good here in the spring versus who's good in the fall, look at who's maximized the most from each specific kind of race. The spring race is a completely different story than the fall. Ford's been good in the fall. Chevy has dominated the last 4 years in the spring, specifically Hendrick Motorsports. And that's where my picks are going to lie, is within any Hendrick Motorsport car. But it's hard to look at Vegas without looking at Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
His speed is unmatched. He has the highest average speed ranking among any driver right now. He's at the top of almost every single list with most wins on 1.5 miles. He's leading the list at most wins or most top fives at 1.5 miles. He's leading the list of highest average or second highest average finish. Third highest average finish. I take that back. Fourth highest. I'm looking at the wrong list. I got these all mixed up. He has the most wins on 1.5 miles. He has the fourth highest average finish. The most laps led by almost 600 laps.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at this race without Kyle Larson, but ultimately I'm looking at something too, and I've already made my picks. I think any Hendrick car will win. If I'm going to go off of pure stats, I'm going to go Kyle Larson. If I'm going to go off trends, I'm going to go Alex Bowman.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the reason why, the last time that we had a three-peat winner in the NASCAR Cup Series, who won that next race? Alex Bowman. We're on a trend right now where we've seen...
Okay, you're going off of these...
I'm going off of these things, and it worked.
And you think my long shot is iffy.
It's interesting. So the last 3 spring races have been won by Bowman in order. Bowman, Byron, Larson. Elliott's not even a conversation. His speed has improved at these kind of tracks, but it's not where the rest of the drivers are.
Yeah.
I think the next driver in line could be Bowman to get this win. I think it could be either one of those, and I even put a little bit of money on Byron too. So
yeah.
I think it's going to be a Hendrick dominated race, sprinkling a little bit of maybe a little bit of Logano in there as a top 5, maybe a little bit of Reddick. But as my favorite, I'm going to go Larson, and then I think a quote unquote long shot would be Bowman, but I think Byron also has a great chance. I think any Hendrick car, I think one of those 3 Hendrick cars will win this weekend. If we're going off of trends, it'll be Bowman. If we're going off of pure speed at these style of tracks, average speed ranking among all 1.5 miles and at Las Vegas, it's got to be Kyle Larson. I think he wants that win bad. So I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to go my official pick. I'm going Bowman. Bowman the showman, going to win at Vegas this weekend.
That is
Bowman the showman.
Okay, that's a pick. It's definitely something. It's a pick. It's something.
It's a pick. It's a pick for sure. He has the second most top 5s out of the last 6 races with all active drivers. So I mean, it's not too far fetched. And Hendrick Motorsports has dominated this race for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's hard to count out Hendrick.
It is.
I mean, Hendrick 1, 2, 3 is not out of the question. Hendrick top 5. 3 out of the top 5. I'm just worried about Chase Elliott's speed.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting to kind of see how it plays out. However, never say never. You never really know.
But one thing I will say, I'm going to add to your pick. I'm a fan of fading Bell heavy this week.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you why. Fading as in he won't win the race.
Okay. Okay.
So in the last 6 races here, an average speed ranking in the spring races, he's been 9th fastest, 7th fastest, and 21st overall fastest in speed ranking.
Okay.
In the spring. In the fall, he's first every single fall race. This is not a race that he has been historically good at. His speed rankings have not been historically good here in the spring. I know he's won 3 straight, but looking at this trend and looking at where he is, it's not great from an average perspective. I think he may be somewhere in the top 10. I don't think he's going to win. His speed hasn't been there in the spring over the last 3 years. I don't think it's going to be there on Sunday. So I'm going to fade Bell. I'm going to fade Bell this weekend.
I think that's I don't think that's completely. I mean, honestly, the odds of a driver winning 4 in a row are. I don't know what I'll do if Bowman goes 4 in a row. That'll be an insane.
I mean,
Bell goes 4 in a row. That'll be an insane.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Bell, Bush, Bowman. We got a lot of Bs.
A lot. A B has won every single race this season. Think about that. Byron and obviously Bell. So I mean, like,
shit. You're right. Damn.
And who's my pick? Alex Bowman, another B driver. Come on, we gotta keep it going with the Bs here. Also, you want a sleeper? You want 2 sleepers?
Sure.
Gibbs and Buescher. So looking at their speed ranking trends over the last 3 years in the spring race, both are trending in the right
direction.
direction.
Yes. Gibbs, no.
Gibbs, no, has trended in the right direction, going from
Buescher,
Las Vegas.
Yes, Gibbs, no.
Well, let me.
Buescher,
let me
yes, Gibbs, no.
Let me explain.
Buescher, yes, Gibbs, no.
No. Can I tell you why?
No.
In your words, no. Can I plead my case? Can I plead my case?
Yes.
As you pleaded your case for Connor Zillage and that shit the bed, I'm going to plead my case for Ty Gibbs, which might also shit the bed.
Okay.
So starting with Vegas in the fall race of 2022, his speed ranking overall has been at Vegas 21st, 20th, 13th, 5th, and 11th. It's trending in the right direction, going from Vegas spring 2023 and 20th to Vegas spring 2024 to 5th. Same thing with Chris Buescher. Listen to these stats. Speed rankings from the spring of 2022 to the fall of 2024. 21st, 32nd, 26th, 11th, 3rd in the spring of 2024, and then 7th. So it's the last race here, the speed rankings, Gibbs and Buescher had a speed ranking of 5th and 3rd.
Yes, the trend is heading in the right direction for Gibbs. However, the trend is not consistent.
No, he's got his season has been terrible this year, and I don't think it's because of skill.
Year? I'm kidding.
No, I don't. I think he's a very talented driver. I really do. I know a lot of people don't think that, and there's been a lot of talk about him.
I think. I mean, I think he is a good driver. You know, obviously, anyone who can run 500 miles in a stock car like that is a good driver. However, I don't know. I mean, I think the big thing people have wrong with, I think the big issue people have with him is his last name.
It's definitely the nepotism, 100%.
But
it is.
You can
it's
make
fair.
that exact same argument for Dale Jr., for Chase Elliott, for Ryan Blaney. I'm trying to think of others.
Custer,
a little bit of Custard. What's his name? A little bit of Kyle Busch. I think his brother might have helped him there a little bit, but they were both. It was proven that both Kyle and Kurt are extremely talented race car drivers.
Obviously.
Yeah. So I mean, there's nepotism in the sport. There's nepotism in every sport. Okay. All right. I'm a little worried to talk about Bronny James because Stephen A. Smith did it, and he got a face full of LeBron. So,
well, good thing neither of us are Stephen A. Smith. I mean, like,
yeah, but yeah, I think at this point we're just rambling.
Also, but really quick, I want to say one thing about Ty Gibbs.
Okay.
2024 average speed ranking among all drivers at mile and a halfs, all mile and a halfs. Vegas, Texas, Kansas, Charlotte, and Michigan, technically. 3rd overall.
Once again, you and me both know, John, speed does not win races.
No, but your last name,
unless you're NHRA,
or if your name is Gibbs and your grandfather owns the team. I'm just saying.
I know, but speed. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Speed does not win races. All right, momentum through the corners is what. All right, the suspension guy on a NASCAR team gets paid more than the engine guy. Races are won in the corners.
They are.
So. Yeah. But, yeah, the only thing I'm going to say about that really is Connor Zillage got some bad luck. If he didn't, I think my pick still would have stood.
Oh, I'm telling you, the next time we go to a road course, Connor Zillage or SVG will win. 100%.
All right,
100%.
then we're good.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to disagree with that. When you have Connor's a driver like that have a race like that where he knows he could have won, even from coming back, dude, he was on track to win that race even from the back.
Yeah,
like I mean, I think it's going to be amazing. Also, I did pre-order both diecasts
for
Red Bull, both Red Bulls. So
I still can't believe that your damn William Byron diecast isn't going to show up until like September, you said?
All of them. All three of them are not going to show up until 9/30/2024. That's when the ship date is. I'm not going to get them till October, dude.
See, I can't do that.
It's patience. Patience, my guy.
And patience is a damn virtue.
It's the age difference, I think. It's I'm kidding. Maybe it is, though. I don't know.
4. Well, technically 5 now. 5. You old man. What?
You want to talk?
What?
You want to talk?
What? What? Okay, this episode is now.
We're good. We've turned into
started off so good.
We've turned into Fight Club by the end of it. But either way, if you've enjoyed this podcast with us, make sure to share it with a friend and also subscribe to us on Spotify, like and rate, as well as on YouTube. We've grown recently. We've seen the numbers show up. It's been awesome, and we're going to start putting out a lot more short form content, which is what I'm going to talk to Chad about after this. So make sure to follow us on Flag to Flag Podcast, at Flag to Flag Podcast everywhere, except for Instagram. Instagram, it's at Flag to Flag _podcast. Chad, we have reached the checkered flag. Here is a Lego Ferrari to send us off. It's one I built the other day. I highly recommend getting them. Very fun to build. Very fun to build. And
you know me, I'm a Lego head.
Dude,
I currently have a
fun.
$6,000 wish list full of Lego sets. So,
and that's another podcast. That's another podcast episode. We got to talk $6,000
on one of my 3 wish lists. The other one is 4,000. The other one's about to push 1,000.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, we better get off this. We need to get to work now so we can pay for the Legos. Either way, we've reached the checkered flag. We will see you next week on episode 36. Peace.